2 of our self-worth toolkit, the ultimate self-worth toolkit that is. We're doing part 2. This is all about being you. Our first part of the series was learning to be bold, and today we're going to explore a little bit what holds us back from being bold. So we're going to learn to be you so we can be you and be bold at the same time. So this is going to be limiting beliefs. What do you guys know about limiting beliefs?
Nothing.
Okay.
What are they?
So this is a great workshop for you and for anybody that wants to work on their limiting beliefs. Okay, so let's do an experiment. I'm gonna try this experiment. Hopefully it works. I'm gonna read statements for you guys to write down one word. My suggestion is don't think too much. Just write the first word that comes to your head first. Okay. Write one word that describes how you're feeling right now. In this moment, one word. Write one word that causes stress for you. Write one word that creates anxiety for you. Write one word that creates fear, source of fear for you. Next one word that is like a source of happiness. One word that makes you happy, something that makes you happy. And then one word that is to identify like a source of pride or creates pride within you. Okay, so fingers crossed our experiment works. Let's share our words. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. What do you got? Just read down your list.
Alright, I got stress, school again, failing, friendship, and money awareness. Yes, like my energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's what do you got?
Okay.
No changing. No.
It's not one word. I was trying to figure it out, but when she said school, it like came up to my head. Okay, so I have tired, school, and I said last minute, but I meant to say like procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
Fake friends, which is not one word, so I'll just say friends, and then my hubby, which is Noe, and then projects.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so now this was like kind of word association. So I'm gonna share my words and then tell you, kind of create a story out of like the words and like hopefully, fingers crossed, that this is gonna make sense for limiting beliefs. And then we'll see if your words create a similar story for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so my words, so I had describe the feeling right now, nervous. Identify a cause of stress is making content. Identify a source of anxiety is fear. It's more than one word, but fear that the content's not going to do well. A source of fear is my imperfection, that I'm just comparing myself to other people. A source of happiness is exercise, and a source of pride is my learning. So now when I put all of these together though, my limiting belief is kind of shining through these with it's not being good enough. So I'm nervous about good content. So it's like, that means I'm not good enough. The content that I put out there is not going to be good enough. That's the messaging I'm telling myself. My fearfulness around that is no one's going to like it. There's going to be haters. And again, that's like that limiting belief that's saying I'm not good enough for something. Even then, like exercise. Even though exercise makes me happy, it's still like the pressure that I have to do more. Like I can't just be content with like going to the gym and doing one thing. It has to be like going overboard because I have to be good. I'm not good enough. I have to do more. And then I put like sense of source of pride was learning, but it's still because like I'm not smart enough. I have to keep learning so that I can be as smart as everybody else. So I kind of cheated on this, that I'm a lot older than you all to be able to understand this concept of limiting beliefs. But so now if we look at your list, do you see a similar pattern of limiting beliefs based on the answers that you gave?
I would say yes. When it comes to like the reason I'm tired is because of school, and the reason like I'm stressed is because of procrastination. So I think for me it's like I'm afraid of like failure because I'm procrastinating, because I feel like I'm not smart enough, because I feel like I don't belong at my school, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like so that would be all of mine. They're all like relatable.
Yeah, so it's kind of similar of the not being good enough.
Yeah.
And I do that procrastinating when I'm scared that I'm not going to do it right. And so it's still like, so it's like all these choices and these behaviors I'm making are coming back to this belief that I have about myself. That nobody ever said, Michelle, you're not good enough. Like, did anybody say it, tell you're not good enough?
No. I just said it to myself.
Yeah, over and over and over again.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so Sam, what about you? Do you see any a common thread in your
Just the same
list?
as hers, like 100%. It all ties into school.
Yeah.
So.
And feeling like not good enough, not smart enough, not
Yeah.
ready enough, whatever,
Yeah,
not enough
just,
in some.
I guess like kind of like what she was saying, like afraid of like failing my classes and not doing enough, even though like I do more than I should be.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like in these limiting beliefs, I feel like they're like mean little myths that we tell ourselves. Like they're not true. They're not really based on anything. But so where do you think, like where does this mindset come from? Where do we get these messages?
I think
Insecurities.
and like stuff we see on like TV, on movies.
Um,
Like for me, if like I feel like I don't think I'm smart enough because I don't see representation of like Latinas in school or even in college. Like I don't see like Latina doctors. I don't see like women of color in there. So I'm like I'm not smart enough to be in there. That place.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's media too, but it's like all this other stuff we see. Like it doesn't have to be like TV. It could be like just in general, the like where we live,
Right.
like society.
Yeah, and like it's sad.
Yeah.
You know, that this is like imposed on us, and like as little, like when we're little, we just, whatever our observations are, and then our little brains are processing this, and we're making these assumptions of like, oh, I don't look like that, I don't act like that, I don't do that, and then it all comes down to, well, I'm not good enough. It's so painful.
And we just assume that everyone else is doing better than us.
Yeah.
But then it's not until you realize they're just as stressed. Because for one of my classes, my orientation class, we go around and like everyone says how they're feeling in the current moment, and they're like, I'm stressed, and the common theme was because of homework and like midterms that's coming up. And it's like, it's not just you know, everyone else is afraid of failing and not doing more.
Yeah. I think that's what, when it comes down to it, it's like, oh, school's so stressful. But if you keep pulling back the layers, like, and what, it comes down to we're scared of not being good enough, or not giving the right answers, or not fitting in, or there's fears that are always around it.
Yeah.
So I think the media is a big part, and I guess to some extent families maybe. I don't know if you, like, not that they're saying it to you when you're laughing.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah.
In what ways?
I guess it's just like they have such high expectations for you to be super successful in school, especially for my older brother. Like he was like a straight A student and like all that. So they're like, we expect you to be the same way. Don't fail your classes. And it's like if you like do bad in your classes, then you're not gonna be as successful. You can't go out and do the things that you want to do and all that.
Yeah. So then we're comparing our like, and this is the point of this like workshop and exploring this, that we want to be you. Like you can only be you. You're not your brother. You know.
Yeah.
You're not your siblings. You're like, and I get, you know, I have a twin, and so it's like we're the same age, and it's like constantly, and he's a boy, you know, but it's like still comparing that nobody teaches you that like. Just be you, it's out. Just be you, Sam. Just be you, Michelle. But like, and I mean, we might get those messages too, which that's the interesting thing about these limiting beliefs too. But it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Like if they're like, it's not, you can do anything you put your mind to. In the back of your brain, you're like, no, I can't, because
like,
I've seen all these.
It just goes out the layer.
Yeah. So it's like, so these limiting beliefs just like really put us in a corner, and I think they're like, you know, part of our foundation for our self-worth. And if we can reframe them or tell ourselves a new story, it's going to change our self-worth and change our choices. because like, I don't know about you, but there's a lot of things that my limiting beliefs would like hold me back from, you know, and it's like maybe even like applying for a job. Oh no, I'm not good enough. Or going to be a doctor. Oh no, Latinas can't be a doctor. You know, like no, we're generalizing all these things. So it's definitely painful. It definitely like stunts our growth. It definitely influences our experiences and our choices. You know, and so I want us, now that we know better, so do we have a grasp on these limiting beliefs?
Yeah.
I think it's time to reframe them. And I like to just kind of say that it's telling ourselves a new story. So we're gonna get a little deep with this activity. You guys okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want us to rewrite our narrative. So we're gonna explore, and because PACT is more about self-worth as it relates to relationships. So you gotta get honest and personal in your relationship worlds. And it could be friendships, it doesn't always have to be super intimate, but just where we're at with relationships. Write a list of at least 5, I'll take 3, but limiting beliefs you have about relationships. And if you're doing this exercise with us while you're watching, some examples I can say is, I don't trust anyone, everyone's out to hurt me, no one understands me, all guys are cheaters, I don't know how to do relationships, the list could go on and on. Clearly they're flowing easy for me. So at least 5 limiting beliefs that you have.
It doesn't have to be just like one word, right?
No, yeah, it could be like more sentences or like,
You said friends too, right?
yeah.
Okay.
What's your limiting belief about friendship?
I think right now I'm in a part where I'm like, I can't find real friends. And why I say that is because like I haven't found friends who have the same like motivation as me, like school and like pursuing themselves. It's more of like how we talked in other videos where like they just want to have sex and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's not a friend to me. Like that's not even an acquaintance.
Yeah.
Like,
So that's
like,
interesting. So then when it comes, do you feel like you're limiting where you're meeting are you limiting yourself in some way?
Yeah, like right now I'm like, do I even want to join a club? Because they're all going to be the same.
So it's holding you back.
Yeah, it's
from doing
holding
things.
me back from like doing, like being me. 'Cause that's what I used to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like that's all they want.
Yeah.
Like I just put these assumptions about people and I'm like, well, I don't know. Shit,
Yeah.
maybe they are into what I'm into.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like friends.
Yeah. No, that's a good point that you are acknowledging. Like it's in the past. Like you had these couple experiences, and that doesn't have to define everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like the next part of this activity is thanking yourself for how did these beliefs serve us at one point. You know, and some of them, like some of these limiting beliefs might have protected you from doing drugs, you know, or something like that. So they're not always bad, but it's like finding that balance of where they can be more positive. So if we think about our list, what can you like thank yourself for and like think about how they served you?
For the friends one, I will definitely say throughout like my entire high school and even college, I didn't have a bad friend.
Oh, okay.
I had really good friends that were like into school, and if they did party, they did it safely.
Yeah.
And I was really comfortable to like be with them in that party setting or like whatever the case may be. Like I made good friends with that.
Oh.
Belief.
Okay. Yeah.
Despite me having that, like even though I was scared, I found friends that were nice and we did eventually have the same.
Okay. So you've seen it work. Like
Yeah.
you put it aside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sam, what are you working on? Is there one that you want to explore more?
Oh, my list.
Yeah.
I guess people not being able to like meet my expectations.
People, you feel that your limiting belief is people won't meet your expectation?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk more about that.
Well, it's just like when I start getting into like relationships or like friendships that are into relationships, I know what usually comes out of it. So like, let's say for a friends with benefits situation, it's just like, you know what's gonna come out of it at the end. Either it's gonna be good or it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just like, I don't expect anything to come out of this, or it's like I want to kind of go down the path of a relationship, but like, you know.
Yeah. I think Destiny shared this example where it's like her friend was just doing the hookup thing, and then it was like, oh, it's just another hookup, and then somebody wanted to have a relationship and she didn't know what to do with it, and then went to like the other extreme, and so it's almost like a negative. You're just carrying a negative narrative with you. It is. It's just so fascinating. So where do you think? So there's probably like a fear. Like if you went down, would you be fearful? Maybe you're gonna get hurt, or like.
Yeah, I think mostly probably that.
Yeah.
I think that's very common.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, for sure.
It's like most relationships and stuff. Like you're afraid of like getting hurt.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Or the rejection. If you tell the person like, hey.
And then things get weird.
Yeah.
It's sloppy. Yeah.
Yeah. But all these things, like, we're just creating the story because we never do it.
Yeah.
You've never had an experience where you said, hey, I like you. Let's make this a relationship, because we're too scared to do that. So we're creating these stories in our own head that aren't even the real narrative. Which is limiting beliefs, which is holding us back from being you know? So how can we get past this? If we look at these limiting beliefs, how could you reframe them to be more serving for what you're looking for?
I
Or
would
more
say,
positive, I guess, yeah.
okay, so my other limiting beliefs were like all men are the same, and it goes back to like the expectations I have. I'm like, it's just gonna end bad, or like they don't meet my expectations. And even if I were, I'm like, I'm still not like happy with you. And the second one I had was love isn't real, but it's because of that they don't meet my expectations. And the last one was the friends. They're like hard to make.
Yeah.
So I think if I were to like change it and like honestly like really like fuck that. Fuck all of these limiting beliefs. It's stopping me from like really trying to be me, trying to find my friends, trying to find love.
Yeah.
And like I kind of just come to like conclusion like I don't know what will happen. So like just fuck it.
Yep.
Keep going. You know, life is still gonna be happening. Friends are gonna be there, or they're not gonna be there.
Yeah.
Your partner's gonna be there, or you're not gonna find a partner. Like fuck it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points, and even just the like have the experience before we create these myths in our head. You know, it's
definitely.
like if you've never been cheated on, but all your friends were cheated on, and now we're like, oh, everyone's cheated on, and it's like you didn't even have that experience, but we're lumping that all together. So it's like being very stereotypical, you know, and I guess my suggestion for you bring up like really good points, but like that, like look for the evidence.
Yeah.
You know, so if I'm saying all guys suck, like where's the evidence of that? I could go back and go through my guy friend. They don't suck.
Yeah.
You know?
Like actually,
but like, why am I saying this?
Yeah.
So it is like going back to the root, and then what is really that about? Because it's really more about us. It's not about the other person. So I think that this comes back to the last video when we were coming up with mantras, the mantras of being bold. So now that we know limiting beliefs and we know how mantras connect, could you guys create a strong mantra based on learning what we just learned now?
Just be you. Like really, like be you.
Yeah.
Live your life. Get in a relationship if you want to be in a relationship. Tell them you like them. Tell them you don't like it. Like that's it. Like really, like at the end of the day, it's just gonna be you and you. You know, you gotta love yourself first too.
Yeah.
Love yourself and be you.
Yeah. And that's like comes back to if I accept me, it doesn't matter what other people think of me.
Yeah.
Because no one else has to like me but me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we're gonna go through life, like think of all the people you like or you may not like. Like, we're not gonna like everybody, and everybody's not gonna like us. So why should I try to fit in this box to like limit myself to who I am? Like, fuck it, be you.
Don't look for acceptance in someone else, in some other place but
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Which is all easier said than done.
Yeah.
But I think like that's why we talk about it, and when we realize we're all doing it, like we can call each other out, you know. And I always say how, you know, the young people I work with make me do like this stuff's hard for anybody, you
Yeah.
know. It's not like oh girl, just do it. Like I want you to do that, but when we're actually trying to do it, it's hard.
Maybe like also ask for help, but like be willing to accept it. Like,
Yeah.
do you really
Yeah.
want to hear that advice?
Yes. Yeah. So that's, I think I want to just end with those challenges, asking for help, but also like practicing. So if anybody that's watching is going through this this activity, and now that we know what's going on, how can you reframe your story? And so like the challenge is just, to reframe your story and look for the evidence. So all these things that we think that are limiting us, what is the truth behind that, and get rid of these mean little myths that are floating around in our head. So, all right, I like it. Thank you for like this is hard, so thank you for being honest and sharing, and I think you being open and vulnerable lets other people be open and vulnerable. So
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you.
Last thing, you should definitely do the challenges, because I find myself practicing doing the challenges, and it actually does change my mindset. Changes the game completely.
Yeah.
And we know these challenges are hard and very personal, so if you need any help, we're more than happy to listen to your guys' stories and comments on Discord, so go ahead and do that. And thank you guys for watching.
See ya.